What is up, everybody? Welcome back to a special edition trade recap. All right, I will be going over my trade this morning, Thursday, July 30th. All right, we're gonna get right into it. I hope you guys are enjoying the channel. I hope that I'm spreading some positivity, some optimism, and some learning experiences for you guys, hoping to make this journey just that much easier for you guys to become profitable and learn the system that cracked the code. All right, dive right into it. Gonna start off at 9:30. All right, this is what I'm looking at when I see market open, when I see the charts for the very first time in the morning. All right, so my first clear indication, right? What do I see as soon as I open up these charts? I see a bunch of unmitigated highs from previous sessions. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna mark them out. I'm gonna keep track of these. I'm gonna see exactly when they do get taken out. I'm also going to mark out these little lows here because price will always move based off of liquidity, all right? So it all depends on which liquidity wants to get swept first, and that's what we target, right? So right into it, first 15-minute candle that opens. What do? I mark out the high and the low, right? What is this strategy called? This strategy is called the opening 15-minute orb, or the 15-minute opening range for the day, right? So what do? I mark out the high and the low of that initial 15-minute candle that prints at 9:30. All right, so that 9:30 candle will close at 9:45 Eastern Standard Time, and that is when you will mark out the high and the low of that initial 9:30 15-minute candle. That will be your opening range, okay? Your orb, 15-minute orb. All right, once that candle closes, you can drop down into the 5-minute, you could drop down into the 3-minute, you could drop down into the 1-minute. I personally like to drop down into the 1-minute. All right, and I basically just wait for price to break the high or the low, right? And what happens after it breaks a high or low, we're not just initially taking that as a trade. We're not taking that as our setup. We want to see what price does after it closes above or below this opening range, right? If it wants to reverse, if it wants to use that as its draw on liquidity to reverse, or if it wants to continue in that direction, right? So what do? This is about 9:44, right before the initial 15-minute candle close, right? So I dropped down to the 1 minute and now I'm just waiting for my price to develop, right? So now we do get a sweep and a closure, right? What do I mean by a closure? I mean a body candle close. I don't mean a wick. We don't care about the wick above the opening orb. We care about this body close, right? So what happens when the body closes above? Then we wait for a nice retest of the opening range and a clear sign of rejection that price wants to continue in the direction that the orb was broken, right? So we get the break right here. All right. I'm going to actually circle it so you guys can see. Oops. I'm going to circle it so you guys can see this. All right. This is the orb right here, top of the 15-minute candle. This is your break right here. On this bullish candle right here, we get a nice 3-point break. All right. And that is your initial indication that price wants to go up for the day. All right, all we are doing, again, like I said, we are waiting for a retest and clear sign of rejection that price wants to continue in the direction where the orb was broken, right? So this is my clear sign of retest, all right? We are actually tapping into this 1-minute fair value gap. So what do? I actually mark that out just so I could keep an eye on it, all right? I'm seeing that price is closing within that 1-minute gap, right? So now what do? I wait for the next minute candle to open and we get a nice doji candle. What's a doji candle? A doji candle is a wick at the top and the bottom with a nice small body candle. What does that represent? That represents indecision in the market. It's essentially it's essentially the same amount of buyers as well as sellers currently in the market trying to dictate where they want price to go. And this is where things get interesting, right? So obviously, if price wanted to continue lower and actually reject from this orb being broken to the upside, we would have closed at least filling this 1 minute fair value gap and then continuing underneath and below, taking out these lows, maybe revisiting this 1 minute fair value gap, so on and so forth, right? So that is our clear first initial sign that we are retesting and rejecting back higher. So what do? I wait for the very next candle to open and I press buy. I don't hesitate. I don't second guess. I don't think twice about it. This is the model. This is the strategy. We are just following a set of rules that someone else created for us, right? This is a strategy somebody else created. It is proven to be about 80% accurate, right? If you take that, what does that mean? Every 10 trades that you take, on average, you will win about 8 out of those 10 trades using this 15-minute orb strategy, right? It's very simple. It's probably one of the easiest ways that you could dictate initial drawn liquidity every single morning at New York Open at 9:30. All right. So if you guys want to get familiar with a very easy strategy, I would highly recommend this 15-minute orb or opening range breaker right here, right? So we enter this trade. It is 9:51, right? Still very early. The macro hasn't even opened yet. The macro opens at 10, right? So what do we want to see? We want to see some type of speed going in our direction because we are very scared of that 10 o'clock candle opening and a bunch of sellers opening some sell positions and actually dumping this price right into our stop loss, right? So my stop loss has been real tight. It's only about 10.5 points. I really just want to have this internal low to protect my initial stop loss, right? And what am I doing? I'm going to break even as soon as I see one of these other previous draws of liquidity get tapped into, right? So what am I going to do? I'm actually going to mark out this last internal high before my external high or my final take profit. And I just wait for price to come back, revisit this point of interest in order for me to go break even or mitigate my risk, take my risk off the table. Because again, like I always stress to you guys, we are here to protect our capital. These markets don't care about our capital. These markets don't care about your live account, your funded account, your demo account. The market makers are going to set their decision and they are going to run price in whatever direction they want it to go. And all we are looking to do is tag along with them. All right. The trend is your friend, guys. I'm going to stress that to you guys every single day. The trend will always be your friend. All right. So now we are getting clear signs that price is pumping. It wants to continue higher, right? So what do? Wait for that break even level to get tapped into, which it does, and it actually runs as soon as that break even target was hit. So what do? I go break even, take all my risk off the table. I'm happy, and I'm only about 5 points away from full TP. So I'm ecstatic right now. I'm jumping up and down. I know I say don't trade with emotions, but everybody loves to win, especially this fast into market open, right? It's nothing better to get in and out of your trade in less than 20 minutes at market open. Are you kidding me? What else could you possibly ask for than the perfect setup and perfect delivery like we got this morning, dude? Honestly, I wouldn't even look for a second trade after this. This was more than enough. This was a nice 22-point move again, just like how we called yesterday. And like I said, 15 points a day will keep the 9 to 5 away. So 22 points is more than enough for me. I'm more than satisfied. I have the rest of my day to go enjoy and go do whatever I please to do. All right. And that's exactly what I do. Price plays out, it does whatever it does, and it ends up actually getting stuck within that opening range for quite some time before actually finally making another move back up to the upside, right? So again, don't get stuck in a chop. Find your execution, execute perfectly, and as soon as it develops in front of your eyes, don't hesitate, don't second guess yourself, practice your model, back test your strategy, and develop your edge so it is bulletproof every single morning or every single session you decide to trade. And don't ever take a trade if your setup is not presenting itself. Okay. There's no need to throw risk on the table for no reason, right? We stick to our rules, we stick to our strategy, nothing more, nothing less. All right, guys. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I'm going to be doing this way more often for you guys, just so you guys could try to develop an edge much faster in your journey. It did take me quite some time to develop a true edge in the market and really understand market structure and where price wanted to head, draws on liquidity, how to find the proper draw on liquidity. I will definitely dive into a full video on how to find the proper draws on liquidity, just so you guys could fully understand what draws on liquidity are more important than others, right? Obviously, you want to see how market opens, you want to see how price develops as soon as market opens, you want to see if any key levels are tapped into at market open, and you want to see any type of rejections from those levels too, all right? So I will dive into deeper knowledge and information in a future video when it comes to market structure, draws on liquidity, so on and so forth. I love you guys. Thank you all for your support. I'll be back next time. Till then, peace.